until Tuesday night, 11:59 p.m. Difference is you have a chance to add those 2 players up until that Thursday night game. That's a 5 p.m. cutoff time here in Fantastico land. Other rule there, how you finish is how you draft next year. So you finish in first place, you know, you're going to get AP or Ray Rice or whoever you choose, Arian Foster. If you finish in 12th, Morningwood, you're picking 12th.
Great.
You're the flip pick.
Of course, a lot of these rosters should pretty much already be set for the playoffs. So you don't see a lot of major changes coming, do you?
Well, I mean, that's the reason for the rule. I think it was extended. The rule used to be 1 waiver ad per week in the playoffs based on an injury issue. Yeah, your lineups, your horses should be your horses. If you're trying to pluck stuff off the waiver wire to win yourself a championship,
You're probably in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think your paddle is broken.
All right. Last week, big games, everybody, coming into the playoffs. Some teams needed to show up, and they did not. All right. The King only put up 96 points, losing to Mason Kikobe. Lunches for Wimps only put up 96 points, losing to the Mofos. Morningwood only put up 112, losing to the Peaceful Warriors, which set up a huge showdown. Well, the Boone Hupper did defeat the Goods. They needed to win. They needed other teams to lose. That happened. Set up the huge showdown on Monday night. Fire Spitting Jimmy's playing the Rollers. Redonkulous had already ousted Dr. Dick. So if Fire Spitting Jimmy's could not get the win, then Redonkulous, a wonderfully put together team that puts up huge points week in and week out, would be in the playoffs, casting dread upon all the other playoff contestants.
Spit it out, buddy. You're almost there.
Fire Spitting Jimmy's pulls it out by 1 point.
I mean, you got the look on your face like Peg did with that whiteboard in the office. It was like, oh my God, the King gets 96. Oh, the Wimps get air out. Here comes the Boone Humper. They're in. You're
trying to spit through all these playoffs.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Well, go for it.
Peg had to like pop a couple of pills. She was drinking the JD.
Was it the morning
Monday night comes, everybody's hung over, and it's like, who's going to go to the playoffs? Is it going to be the Fire Spitting Jimmy's or Redonkulous? Is it Fire Spitting? Is it Redonkulous? Is it Fire? And then it comes down to Mike Thomas, of all guys. Rollers need 1 catch. Antonio Gates is on the bench. They're blowing him out.
Yep.
Mike Thomas, 1 catch, 11 minutes to go. How many possessions? 3 times?
3 to 4.
I mean, the office, we were all here. We were joined in with the commissioner. We were with Peg. We had the whole gang here, and we're watching this thing.
Yeah.
Can Mike Thomas make 1 catch? Can Blaine Gabbert complete a pass?
I noticed.
Can Redonkulous get on snake bit? And what happened?
You know what happened? I noticed you stepped into the copy room with Peg a couple of times.
Oh, what? Well, their game on was in the copy room. We had it in all the rooms.
Oh, yeah. Game on in the copy room, indeed. Hey, listen. Fire Spitting Jimmy's defeats the Rollers 156.52 to 155.18. Playoff implications, you betcha. Redonkulous is out of the playoffs. They have the second most highest points, I believe,
yes,
in the entire league.
Yes.
They are out of the playoffs, and Redonkulous is right now home, curled up in the fetal position, biting on his pillow.
Tickling the ball bag. Redonkulous can't get it done again.
And I believe yours truly said at the beginning of the year, Redonkulous was snake bit. I just felt it, and God bless it if I wasn't right.
I mean,
and this is the only thing I've been right about all year long.
I mean, the really sad thing is now Redonkulous can never draft Mike Thomas.
Oh.
It's like, I mean, that is just a real bummer. You can't have Mike Thomas on your team ever again because he just snake bit you right in the crotch, right on that little point of the scrotum sac that's really sensitive.
Yeah.
Right underneath, right by the taint,
Whoa.
right where it hangs low.
But I have a question for you.
Onto that part of the
What the hell?
underwear that has that little bit of plastic that, like, you don't think that underwear has that little snake tooth.
All right. Listen. What the heck? With everything considered, why the hell was Redonkulous? Why would he have Mike Thomas on his team with everything on the line?
No, he didn't have Mike Thomas on his team. Come on, man! He was hoping for the Rollers to score one more point
Oh, the
with
Rollers!
Mike Thomas. It's so confusing, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Confused.
But all I know it was that the Rollers had Mike Thomas, and he couldn't catch the ball. He couldn't even get a ball near him because Blaine Gabbert sucks. He is a terrible quarterback. Looks like a surfer with like a meth problem.
Cut your hair, Blaine. Cut your hair. You're
And he's
from Missouri.
scared. He doesn't even want to be near anybody out there. He's running for his
Well,
life.
he's like-
no one's even chasing him because he sucks.
He's a young Kerry Collins. He's all arm and no accuracy. All right, so I mean that pretty much explains it.
All arm. He throws 4-yard passes all game long. That team is horrific.
The guy's got
The
a
fact that the
cannon.
Rollers played Mike Thomas makes me question whether they tried to throw the game, but they scored 155 or 50. Yeah, 55 fucking points. Pardon the French.
You're a
See who play, Rollers.
Oh my
Good Lord.
Oh,
Mike Thomas?
boy.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Mike Thomas,
I'm
come on,
going to
Lord.
get thrown off
Come on,
YouTube at this rate. Oh, Lord, bring it down. Give me that.
Bam!
Wow.
So instead of having a complete monster of a team in Redonkulous who is capable of putting up 180 to 200 points per week, we have the fire spitting Jimmies, which is, I would say, a middling franchise. Good 1 week, bad 1 week, feast or famine. I mean, he's what was his final record was 6-7 for a reason. This team is going up against Mason Key Colby in what has to be the game of the week, our playoff spotlight of the week. Mason Key Colby, fire spinning Jimmies, two snarky competitors. And very devoted fantasy players, and we're going to get right to that just a minute. All right, everybody, Fantasy League Fantastico playoffs. Now, before we go any further, Bud, let me ask you, what does playoffs mean to you? Fantasy football playoffs. What is it that you? I know you play in a league yourself.
Yeah.
What is it that what does it mean to be in the playoffs?
It's a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I mean, it's like a baby being born at draft day, and then growing into something that you watch develop over time. And you add things to its environment, you teach it lessons, and you watch it grow into this beautiful human being. And sometimes it grows into this ugly, kind of gnomey looking dwarf.
Yeah.
That's not worthy of the eye. And other times it grows into this handsome young lad that's fit for the world and ready to do a lot of things to benefit you and I and all that is in this fantasy land.
Really? Well, it's very poetic.
Something
so
like
I guess if you were to look at the management of the Boone Humper, he took that baby and he partially aborted it and put in all new parts. That team's like Frankenstein, and that team made it to the playoffs.
Well, that's an interesting observation, and it does lead us into the part of our show where we nominate the GM of the Year in Fantasy League Fantastico to be revealed on next week's second round playoff show. It's been a huge competition this year. Peg's been calculating